You want a quick promo, Hal? You got a quick promo, Hal. Welcome back to the Hell's Noise Radio program. Mega Watch, Guys, Press Talk, WCPT. Woo! Yeah!
I feel like it needed more stuff.
De-engineering.
There's so much that it could be said.
Part of a family that was very well knit.
While they drown your endless torment of, what they do, they have an endless list of propaganda and propaganda methods.
Assuming you're believing in atmospheric filth. Atmospheric filth.
Action replays in magnified fortune. Legal, look. Would never, ever, not even possible, have happened if I was president. Indiana Attorney General.
Attorney General?
Attorney genitals. And I don't know. He was trying to say Attorney General.
I hope so.
Yeah, some of the stuff, some of them I can't even play on the air. he literally, he speaks so poorly so as to be in violation of FCC rules.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, it is. All right. Cool. So we have another caller. I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Chicago. Do we have another caller? Yeah,
we do. We have Phil from California.
Oh, right on. Phil of Knows Russia fame. Is that you, Phil?
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Al,
thanks.
Yeah. Hey, so I want to preface this by a couple of things. Firstly, thank you for letting me have an outlet here for the information that I've been gathering.
Sure.
I was up until like 5 a.m. this morning talking to Europe and my sources in Ukraine and some people I talked to about Russia over there. And so I'm a little fuzzy and a little tired. So I tried to take some notes down here because some of the people who listened last time said I was a little too disjointed. So
there's a lot of stuff going on. They don't blame you.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts.
Well, I've been on the phone. Yeah, I've been on the phone, and, old journalists don't die. They just fade away. So,
sure.
Again, thanks for the outlet. I have a couple of talking points here, and you can decide which one you want to discuss. I have some information about Putin. I'd like to discuss the possibility of, if it happens, well, at this point, Hal, unfortunately, I think we're past if. I think it's going to definitely. And what objectives he might. We've discussed that in the past. But I also have to make a point here as well, while I have the opportunity, is just to understand I have a real love for Ukraine. I've been there many, many times. It's this wonderful country, and one of the wonderful things about it is it doesn't have the split personality of the Russians. There's a reason why the Russian eagle looks both east and west. They have an identity crisis. They don't know if they're Europeans or Asian or something else. So the Ukrainians take all the best of Russian culture, but they leave that identity crisis behind because they know they're European.
Yeah, they're the Taiwan of Russia.
Or what used to be Hong Kong. But yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so I think we have to take that into account, is the fact that one of Putin's strategic issues that I think forced his hand here is he cannot have a successful Ukraine, because if he does, a lot of his own people are going to say, hey, they're basically us. Why can't we have the rule of law?
Exactly.
Or, functioning middle class.
Exactly the same problem that China has with Taiwan, currently.
Indeed, and I think also when Biden said a couple days ago, it's been very, very fuzzy. It's been wild this week. Hal, glad you gave me a chance to talk. When Biden said that he thought that they were going to go through Kiev, I think that's a distinct possibility. I was poo-pooing it before because it's absolute madness. But he's got two main strategic objectives: ruin Ukraine's future, at least in the immediate term, in becoming a functioning state, and two, get that land corridor down to Crimea, which we have discussed, because the Black Sea Fleet is an existential threat. If they lose it,
you have real quick on that note too, is that Russia's plan had been to use sock puppets to undermine it for the last couple of decade and a half, essentially. and Manafort played a very strong part in that as well. The idea was that you make it so bad that people think it'll be better to just be under the Russian envelope. And so just corrupt all the industries, corrupt all the government systems, and go, maybe we need somebody bigger than that to come in and fix it for us. And that was always the Russian plan, primarily. And the idea that when Trump got in is that he would help facilitate that. And he absolutely did. The problem is that the impact of the Euromaidan was so strong, and that the people of Ukraine do actually have a functional identity. And because Putin had claimed the Donbass and the Crimean area, all the people that were sympathetic to the idea of rejoining Russia all moved basically to that area. So you sequestered those folks out of the normal conversation. So your average Ukrainian isn't sitting at a bar with somebody who believes they should be a part of Russia again the way they were before. And one of the reasons why they hate Hunter Biden, why they hate Joe Biden, is because Burmesia, sorry, I have to, how do they pronounce that again? Burisma.
The Burmesia executives.
Yes.
So this Burmesia.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, the reason they don't want Burisma to succeed is because if it was functional, then they have oil and gas. They can function as a country. They have an economic tax base along with their cultural base to be successful, and then they become the envy of Russia, which is kind of your point. And that is exactly they are with oil and gas. Ukraine is the way Taiwan is with chips, with computer chips. And this is the tug and pull between both of these things, and both of them are too successful for the bigger country to stand right next to it, because everybody in Russia. I mean, you can continue on. I just wanted to inject that part of it in my own take.
Yeah, no. Well, and plus, look, Manafort helped get Poroshenko in, which actually started this whole thing. Because ultimately, when Poroshenko kind of started to look to side up to the West, and Putin said, no, I'll buy you out, and Poroshenko said, okay, and the Ukrainian people said, hey, wait a minute, we want that trade deal with the European Union.
Right.
That's what sparked Maidan. So Manafort, you could say, started this entire thing. But we're getting off track, as we often do when it comes to Russia. It is a complicated topic. So
it's Christmas lights. We only do this once a year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my point is, he wants to both decapitate a functioning Ukraine, which is why I'm afraid he may actually try to push for Kiev. He clearly can't hold it. Holding the entire country would be just a bloodbath, a constant bloodbath. It would be just horrific. But he does want to hold that corridor. So you've got two strategic objectives that I think he's going for. Talking to my sources and talking to the people who cover this stuff and who are on the ground there. He wants to destroy a functioning Ukraine, and he wants to get his land corridor so that he can support Crimea. Those are his objectives. Right. Now, he may have to overreach so that he can then pull back and look reasonable, but it still won't happen. The damage he's going to do to his own country is going to be massive. And this brings me, I think you're probably running out of time now, and I don't want to capitalize everything, but this brings me to the last point that I have written down here. Well, I've got another point, but this is definitely a point I want to get to, so let me say it. I spoke to a Russian contact of mine who has a source within, because I'm using my name and my identity is out there, I don't want to say exactly what this contact is, but I just want to reassure you and your listeners, this isn't a joke, and this comes from an organization within the Kremlin. Let's say that.
Okay.
They're all really scared about Putin's mental capacity.
Yeah.
They're really scared about it. He's been in a bunker.
Clearly.
He has been in a bunker. He is terrified of COVID. He's been in a bunker for 2 years. His close circle, what's called the Silovaki, the strong men, have been increasingly isolated from him, so that nobody knows who he's really talking to. And so I think the fear that's been put out there of Putin actually having lost his mind and is no longer functioning rationally, as frightening as this is, might be true, and that comes from within the Kremlin.
Yes, and that is one of the issues where I think the Biden administration is factoring that in. That's why I think Biden comfortably said he's made the decision to go in, because the decision is not based on logic. He can always back out. They're giving him that exit. But the idea is that, and this goes to the sort of like the metal bar analogy I often use, which is that if you got a bent metal bar stuck in concrete and you want to straighten it out, you have to overbend it so it'll correct back to the center. And there's an element of, I'm sure the military leaders around him are saying we need to push further into Ukraine and then back the part out. The idea of going for Kyiv, though, is an order of magnitude greater. It requires something that will look to the rest of the world like the optional bombing of London in World War II. It will look awful. It's a civilian base. It's not hitting a military structure. You're striking the capital of a cultural center of your again. These are their cousins. These are people who are
bloody history, which is a terribly bloody history.
Yes. Right. And if anybody wants to know, like, blood. Yes, and this, the history of, Stalin and the Holodomor and the Ukrainian it's brutal, and it's been going on for a long time. The issue that, and I think this gets to, we've got 1 minute left, so if you want to jump in here with these. The last little bit, because I can carry this on in my radio show. The rest of
that's why Ukrainian women. That's why Ukrainian women are so beautiful. Is because all the men of fighting age of a certain generation were killed. But anyhow, regardless, we need to be concerned. I think Putin. I think Biden has played this masterfully, but unfortunately, I think events on the ground have
he's up against a lunatic.
And I think
yes. Well, I don't think it's ahead of him. I think you're dealing with a
increasingly isolated.
Yeah. Right. We're out of time. I appreciate the call, Philip. Right. We're out of time, Kev. And I appreciate you calling in. It's great information, and it's right in line with what I've been saying, so I feel kind of good about the information I've been giving out. That helps a lot, I think. Thanks for tuning in. This is Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. We're on every Saturday. Join us. Like, subscribe, support the show in any way you can. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks or Venmo or any of that other stuff just to keep us on the air. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Love you, Johnny Million. You're awesome. Talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.